Nick, what would it take for LeBron to pass Jordan as the GOAT?
Get him, Nick. All right, so if we're talking about accomplishments, he needs at least a couple more rings, probably one more MVP. But if we're talking about accomplishments, Jordan's not the GOAT. It's Kareem. And if it's not Kareem, it's probably Russell. So we're not really talking about accomplishments. We're talking about who's the best. Who's the best? One game to decide your life. Who do you want in all-time history? So for LeBron to pass Jordan, he needs a time machine to go back about 11 months when he passed him the first time. LeBron's been the best player ever since about midway point of Game 6 of last year's finals, and all he's done since then is continue that. He's on the greatest streak in postseason history since Dre called him the B word and Clay said his feelings were hurt. He's played 16 games. His team's 15-1, giving you 34, 9, 8, and 55% shooting. And when we're just comparing the two players, LeBron averages more rebounds, assists, blocks, steals than Jordan, shoots a better percentage from 2, shoots a better percentage from 3, is the more versatile defender, can guard all 5 positions. He can do everything Jordan could do, but better. So what does he need to do to pass Michael Jordan? He already done past Michael Jordan as far as who's the best player ever.
Go ahead, CC. I want to go after Skip.
What I would like to do is I'd like to take this conversation back, say, right in the middle of Michael Jordan's career, Skip. I used to travel. Michael and I were good friends. I used to travel around, watch my great basketball fan, Ron Harper, is my homeboy. Grew up in Dayton, Ohio, very good friends with my family. So I was blessed to be a part of the Michael Jordan show, traveling with him, playing golf with him. And at that time, Skip, in the mid-'90s, who did we discuss as the greatest basketball player then?
In the mid-'90s?
In the mid-'90s. Before we were talking about Jordan.
Well, we were talking about Jordan in the mid-'90s.
But before we were saying that he was the greatest. It was either Kareem or we were talking about champions, Bill Russell.
Right.
Okay.
But once Michael came, they knew he couldn't pass Russell, so they started looking at Michael in a different category compared to the other greats, even Elgin Baylor, Oscar Robinson. So they changed it. So when Mike got 3, they thought that he potentially could. Then he took some time off. Then he got 3 more. That's what put him in the conversation. But before that, we were talking about Kareem and Bill Russell. Now, why shouldn't we still be talking about all those 4 players? Because they play a lot of different positions. It's hard to compare them.
Right.
Like you couldn't compare Russell and Kareem. And you can't compare LeBron and Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan to us right now, because he's undefeated in championship, it's going to be hard to knock him off being the greatest basketball player ever. Nick is trying to make a point of who plays basketball better.
That's got to be the question.
If you look at all the metrics besides free throw shooting, LeBron does that better than Michael. But, man, there's a thing called winning the game. And there's a thing called the eye test. And Michael Jordan,
LeBron, I think God is angry with this
God is
conversation.
getting angry with you guys.
Michael Jordan, he passed all those tests for me. Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player ever. And I disagree with Nick because I saw it and the ability of what he could do when everything was on the line. Now, LeBron, his cement's not dry yet. Michael's cement is dry, and a lot of them things in the cement, you know when you have cement, you lay cement there's like little fingerprints in it, little birds get on it. But a lot of those little things with Michael, we smoothed them over. We've forgotten them. With LeBron, we pick every little thing out of the cement to make the difference in the argument.
Chris, by 1990, I was saying, I'm watching the greatest thing ever. I'd never seen anything like the force of nature that was Michael Jordan. As a leader, as a clutch takeover player.
I would agree, yes.
I've just never seen anything like it. And not to discredit the great Bill Russell, but the era in which he played, there just wasn't the competition.
18.
I got it. I got it. But
yes.
And also, there were too many white guys playing,
Yeah,
right?
there was 18 and only a few black players.
And Kareem needed magic to take him over the top because Kareem wasn't the leader of the franchise, the face of the franchise. He needed some guidance. He needed that force that was magic to come in and create the dynasty that was the Lakers. Kareem couldn't have done it as the go-to guy for that. That's just me.
Kareem had already won a championship before Magic got there.
And he had 4 MVPs.
And he has the most unstoppable shot in the history of the game.
With Oscar. I got it.
Oscar was at the tail end, though, Skip. Now, be fair.
He was. No, he was. And I got it. And I don't want to discount it, but there's just some magic to Magic that took that thing up one more level with Kareem and with Worthy.
Yes.
And I got all, and Byron, and we know Michael
Wilkes.
Cooper. Yeah, they were loaded. Okay, so back to Michael, and I get your eye test. If we're just doing eye tests, I told him this earlier in the show. My eye test tells me that Michael's better. We're just sort of doing vacuum to vacuum, just what do they look like? Because LeBron has a huge deficiency in his game. He runs from the free throw line late in games, and he's a poor free throw shooter, especially by Mount Rushmore standards. This year he's 67%. Well, that's a big asterisk on his career to me,
Skip,
that he was such a poor free throw shooter.
The finals ended last year with LeBron hitting a free throw to win the championship.
No, it didn't. Kyrie had already won it with the three. With
Going
50%.
up 3 doesn't win you anything.
No.
You know that. Ray Allen taught you that.
Yeah, that
going
wasn't
up
at the buzzer.
3 doesn't.
There was a possession after that.
Going up 4, the same thing he did in Game 7 against the
I'm
Spurs.
not
He
giving
put
you
him up.
that. No,
But-
I'm sorry. But if you really look at the totality of LeBron's career, the truth is, without the greatest clutch shot I ever witnessed by Ray Allen, which saved his bacon, or he took the shot to tie to go to overtime and missed it. Long rebound. We know the rest of the story. Ray in the corner, nothing but net.
So what about all the shots all the other guys made that I was at the game with Michael Jordan they made? I was there when Kerr made the shot, when Paxton made the shot.
Did LeBron call them over in a timeout before that last possession and say, I'm going to feed you the basketball and you are going to make this shot? No, he didn't do that.
Jordan made the best basketball play.
Actually, he did. Because if you go look at the footage, he tells Ty Lue, he points at Kyrie and says, let Kyrie take the shot.
I'm talking about the Ray Allen shot.
No, I'm talking about the look, because here's the thing. This is what we keep doing, and everybody keeps doing this. LeBron James is the only guy that is allowed to have teammates to do their job.
Yes.
You see, Ray Allen make that shot, he bailed him out. Who did Robert Ory bail out with all those threes he made?
And don't nobody say nothing about the Lakers, about James Worthy going off in the finals.
36, 10, and 10, and he was the finals MVP.
Okay, if Draymond doesn't call LeBron the B word to his face so audibly that Kiki Vandeweghe could hear it in the third row, and Draymond doesn't get suspended for Game 5, what happens last year in that series?
Well, I don't know, Skip, because they won that game by, I think, 17 points. And if Draymond makes a 17-point difference, God bless him. But LeBron scored 41 in that game. And then in the next game, when Draymond was back, he scored 41 again. And then in the next game, he had a triple-double in Game 7 of the finals.
And Bogut couldn't play in either of the last two games.
Bogut was so valuable, he got bought out by the team after he was released by the Warriors.
He was the rim protector.
Okay, but can we be fair about what we do here? Because you listen, Ray Allen did hit the biggest shot in NBA history. It came after LeBron James propelled one of the biggest fourth quarter comebacks in an elimination game of the finals in NBA history. And that didn't win
16.
And that didn't win the series.
He had a triple-double.
And then there was Game 7 where LeBron, who the big knock on LeBron is, can he be a killer? How did Game 7 of those finals end? It ended with Tim Duncan missing a shot and LeBron coming down and scoring his 36th and 37th points to ice the game.
He was really good, and my Spurs were really bad in that game because they were psychologically devastated.
Okay, what about those finals? Because I was at most of them with Michael Jordan. Those teams weren't great. Not Michael's teams, the competition. They were not great teams.
Okay, how about this? I'm going to say this point right here. In Game 7 last year, LeBron had 10 points. The Cavaliers only scored 18. He had a triple-double, but all we remember is Kyrie's shot. But what about the block? The shot becomes obsolete because now they don't need a 3 to tie you.
Yes.
They can get a free throw.
And they still need another bucket after that.
But Skip, how many teams did Jordan face in the finals that we say were better than the Warriors?
You can make that case. So you have a chance now in the next 3 years to show us what you can do
What
against
team
that
they faced
super
was
team.
better than the Warriors in 2015, 2016? What team did Michael Jordan face that was better than the Warriors in 2015?
I'll give you that, but I have a question for you.
Okay.
Have you ever seen a superstar meltdown the way LeBron James did against the Dallas Mavericks that you're favored over in the 2011 finals? I've never seen anything like it.
I've seen it this way, because I've seen it with Kobe, one of my favorites, and I've seen it with Mike. and I wish Michael would have melted down. But you know what Michael do? They shoot through it, and they keep missing.
Can I and listen, I'm probably on a set with at least another ardent LeBron James supporter and one that's close to it. I might be the biggest LeBron fan. I will look into the camera and say, the finals against the Mavericks is the biggest black mark on any resume of any all-time Pantheon player. The problem is, in the 6 years since then, he's had the greatest 6-year stretch of basketball in the history of the sport.
In 2014, they were blown off the court by a record finals margin in 5 games.
And
go look at games 3 and 4.
Correct.
Go look
and
at
he
him.
was the best player in that
disappeared.
series. He shot 58% and scored 28 a game.